So I'm here with Darren from Laurier University with his Makerspace that you have at the university. Is that correct?
Well, that's right, Ron. We've got a Makerspace in the Laurier Library on Albert Street. We're just opened our doors mid-January, and I'm happy to tell you that we've got tons of student engagement, engagement from faculty, from staff, and from the community as well.
Okay. And we got our friend here, Keith, who's going to be our guinea pig for today. How you doing, Keith?
Thank you.
And what are we going to teach Keith today?
Well, we're going to teach Keith how to make a badge, a Blinky badge today, using soldering, which is joining two metal things, to make a really simple electric circuit. And the whole point of this is really to give somebody a skill, but also to plant a seed that these things that we learn are sometimes not as hard as we imagine.
Well, that's really good. So I guess safety first. I guess we need to put on the safety glasses, I guess?
Absolutely. We only come with one set of eyes, so we all make sure we have glasses on to protect our eyes, and then we'll get cracking. So I'll just run Keith through what we've been doing for the whole day, which has been massively popular here at the Laurier booth at Maker Expo. Okay?
Let's get to work then.
All right, Keith, my friend, there are 4 parts to this badge, and very simply, I'll give you a battery, coin cell battery. And then we need an LED, which is the light up portion of this whole thing. And then we need a circuit board. This is a circuit board that we're going to build on. Branded with Laurier. There we go. Okay. And finally, we've got a battery holder for this whole thing. Okay? Great. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is place our parts. So we want to put the LED into the circuit board. You can see kind of how it's shown here. We want to make sure that that short leg is on the right-hand side.
And then we're just going to cut the ends of these wires.
I think that's the short one. That's right.
We're going to cut it from the top to the wire, right?
So short on the right.
And then we'll cut it as close as here. Just so it doesn't fly.
That looks good. Yep, and then just through those 2 holes. Perfect. All right, hold it with your finger, and then we just bend the wires back. And we're just doing this to hold this temporarily before we solder. Okay, Keith, it's like you've done this before. Look at you, you're showing the mastery here. Okay. The second part we want to do is install the battery clip. So if you look at the front of the board, we just want to make sure the curvy bit is on the left there.
So what you want to do is you're going to grab the hot iron and you take
So we want the prongs down. Exactly right, my friend. Yes.
And create that solder.
Perfect.
You're going to grab the iron.
Great. Now hold that with your finger and flip it over. And what we want to do is, I'm not cutting with these, but I'm closing them up, and I'm going to use them to slide up and fold those tabs over, and then fold over from this end, and that's to hold that in place. Okay? Make sense?
Just one. We want to make them all separate so it doesn't ditch.
I usually fold them into the center. Well, we're not cutting. Remember, we're holding it, and we're folding those. Yep. Yeah, you understand. Exactly. Perfect. And again, this is just holding this piece in place temporarily, and we're going to solder it permanently in just a moment here. That's our next step. Fantastic, fantastic. Looks terrific. All right. So the next part, we're going to put this guy into the clamp here. But we're going to solder on the back side. So we'll flip this around, and we'll just pop it right into the clamp. Perfect. Okay. Now, there are 2 things my grandfather taught me about soldering. And the first one was this. Here's a soldering iron. And he said, cold part, hot part. Always grab the cold part, right? And we hold it just like a pencil. Okay? And then the second thing he told me, this is some solder, which is an alloy of lead and tin. And it's going to flow into the joint and kind of weld this all together, okay? It's going to join it. And so the trick to soldering And no, I don't know why everybody doesn't tell you this, but it's to get both things hot first. So patience over here in the left hand, heat over here in the right. Okay, we're going to touch both that rectangular pad and the wire at the same time. We're going to count to 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're dabbing in with the solder. We're keeping the heat on. Take the solder away, take the heat away. You got the perfect solder joint. It is simple as that. Now the secret is out, right? There's no more secrets for soldering. I'm going to put this back and let you get right at it there, okay? Are you right-handed?
Yes.
Okay, so hold this in your left there. Make sure you got a good bit sticking out. And then just grab that like a pencil. Perfect. Just get right to it. Make sure you get right on that pad there. 1, 2, 3. You're dabbing that in, keeping the heat on. Right in there. Feed it in. Feed it in. Feed that in. And then keep the heat on. And then take that away. Keith, you just made the perfect soldering joint.
Pretty cool. Are there wires?
Second time might not be so easy.
Yes.
I think you're on a roll. You got 5 more to go. Have at it.
Creating the connected in the front. So we put those wires in to connect. The
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right.
5 more. Gotcha.
Yep. All right. I know, because you're focused. I get it.
Thank you so much. And you're gonna go
Get that tip right on the pad. There you go. That's the trick. 1, 2, 3. Dab the solder in.
Or just the glasses.
Feed it right in there.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Keep her going. And if it's not going in, there you go. That's it right there. Good.
This is so thin.
Yeah, it is. And we use a thin solder because people tend to want to feed a lot of solder in, and that can cause a solder bridge, which is not what we're going for, right? So let's go ahead and do those other 4 now.
This is where we're going to put the board in, and that way we can...
Yeah, and make sure we want to be touching both the pad and the little tab there, right? So we're getting everything hot before we put the solder in. So there you go. Go in with the solder now.
It's very, very hot, so just be very careful.
You know, like when you burn yourself on the iron, you can make it even more ouchy.
Okay, so you guys need to grab some...
Perfect. You got a good pacing for this. That's good. Keep going. Most people want to rush in with the solder, and I always got to caution them, just be patient there. We'll let everything heat up, right? Put the iron on, and then 1, 2, 3, in with the solder.
So I'll show you. Okay. So if you turn it over...
Perfect. That's great. Ron, I think you brought me a ringer here. I think he knows exactly what's going on. All right. Away you go, then.
That's what you guys are going to
We can turn that around if that's easier for you.
You guys are going to make energy to make it hot.
1, 2, 3, and he goes in with the solder.
All right. So next thing we're going to...
And he's keeping the heat on after he removes the solder, and that's key. You get a nice shiny solder joint, you're good. If it's dull and gray, you've got what's called a cold solder joint. That is not ideal. That's actually how appliances and things at our home break if they have cold solder joints. So we always want to see that nice shiny bit there that we've got. Last solder joint to go, Keith. I think you're in the home stretch.
Safety first.
That's good. That's good. That patient left hand, very good.
All right. So...
Like the way you're sitting there, Nadia.
Fantastic. Okay. All right, my friend. You can put your soldering iron back in the stand. No need to clean that. We'll take care of that for you.
Just so you guys...
And remove it from the clamp.
Actually, you know what?
Because you're doing the work.
And then we're going to take our flush cut pliers here, and we're going to just trim off those wire leads.
Okay.
Right? So if you take these, you can go straight into the board and just do a nice trim of those. There you go.
Light bulb, so gentleness.
So you're going to grab it?
Now, if you square up to the, if I may,
That's going to go...
just, you want to square up here and go right in and trim, okay? There you go.
Is there only 5? There's just 2.
And it's this part is particularly why we're all wearing safety glasses, because these little wires have a tendency to fling off and find eyes. So we want to make sure we've got everybody safe in the shop here.
Right side?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so the right, this is an L, so that's the left. So this would be right side, okay?
That's to make sure the hot iron's clean.
Yeah, and don't
Just be careful,
hot,
okay?
hot. Okay, now we put it through.
Perfect.
You're going to see.
Moment of truth. Okay. Just pop your battery out of the package there.
You're going to push these wires...
I've been telling people this is the hardest part of the day, is actually getting that battery out of the case. This is pretty challenging. If we check the instructions here, it says plus side of the battery up. So we want to make sure that's up, and you slide it in from the left.
You guys got it too?
Right in from the left here. Yep. Hey, we got a winner, and a new soldering maker is born. High five, Keith. Nice job. Nice job.
Winner, chicken dinner.
All right, so show the folks at home what you've made here, Keith.
How was it, Keith? Did you find it easy?
Yeah, it's fairly easy.
All that remains to be done is to go over to our next table here, claim your badge by writing your name on it, Keith, and you can grab a string as a lanyard and wear your badge proudly around Maker Expo. Thanks a lot for joining us at the Laurier Learn to Solder workshop here at Maker Expo. All right.
And there's other stuff that you do with your makerspace with other with the university also, correct?
That's right. There's a whole range of things that we're doing here, Ron. In experiential learning for students, staff, faculty, and community. We're doing things like photography workshops. We're doing block cut printing. We're doing 3D design. You name it. We're really interested in doing what our makers in our community are interested in doing. And all we have to do is invite them in, and they do amazing things every day.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time and helping this person figure out how to solder, and all the best to you.
My pleasure. Thanks very much, Ron. And thanks again, Keith. Good job. All right, gents.